Aries. Aries symbol Mercury moves back into your public and professional sector for the remainder of its retrograde and beyond, dear Aries. Watch that you don't unwittingly misrepresent yourself with what or how you communicate, and double-check your facts before jumping to conclusions. While Mercury is still retrograde until February 3rd, it's a good time for review but not the best period for clear-cut answers. Reconsider things, but consider waiting it out before arriving at firm conclusions, if possible. Nevertheless, it's a good time for business ideas that are a little outside the box but workable. If there are delays, you get the chance to see a matter in a different light. After February 3rd, you'll feel better equipped with the information you need to move things forward. Mercury will then retrace its steps, and you'll feel far more equipped to make decisions. Today, you can experience an emotional need to escape the usual routine, and introducing some variety into your day could refresh your spirit. Stepping back from figuring out your next move can help clear your head. Try to identify what is real and what is simply a reflection of inner discontent, and avoid beginning new projects now. You need your space. Taurus. Taurus symbol Mercury remains retrograde until February 3rd and is making a shift today, dear Taurus, re-entering your adventure and learning sector. You're likely to go over recent plans or revisit old decisions during this period. Check your facts before expressing your opinions too forcefully, as the information you receive may not be complete. It may be best to review and reconsider matters, and you may want to save solid plans or commitments for the remainder of Mercury's retrograde. Today, you seem to want a little more from life, especially from others, but the tendency isn't to pursue your desires just yet. A Sun-Neptune minor challenge can introduce some uncertainties into your day, but it's designed to open your eyes to needs you've been overlooking or neglecting. Consider that you and others may not be seeing capabilities clearly, so that expectations can also be a little off. Gemini. Gemini symbol retrograde Mercury is backing up into your intimacy sector today, dear Gemini, where it will stay for the remainder of the retrograde and beyond. While Mercury is still retrograde until February 3rd, you may need to go over financials or intimate conversations you thought were behind you. Aim to look at problems, particularly those revolving around shared finances, debts, and balance of power in a relationship, from a new angle or perspective. If they're re-emerging, then they need to be put to rest in a new or different way. Focus less on the details or facts and more on the bigger picture or what it all means. You'll be in a better place to make final agreements after February 3rd. Today, the tendency is to overestimate your capabilities or misjudge situations and people temporarily with a Sun-Neptune minor challenge in play. Doubts are possible related to a lack of conviction or clarity about your future, but easing up on clear-cut definitions may be necessary for the moment. Letting things flow and keeping things moderate are the keys to staying evenly, naturally happy today. Cancer. Cancer symbol retrograde Mercury heads back into your partnership sector today, dear Cancer, where it will stay until the end of the retrograde and beyond. A relationship matter you thought was behind you may emerge for handling in the coming days. It's not the time to look for a clear commitment or for communications to go over precisely as intended. Delays may ultimately help you understand your situation better, however. They can also lead to creative and new ways of expressing yourself that end up working in your favor. Mercury will remain retrograde until February 3rd, after which it will continue to transit this area of your solar chart until February 14th. A little skepticism at the moment can't hurt, as all is not as it seems. Today is a little challenging for decision making. You may not feel especially equipped to draw a conclusion without all the information at hand. Relationships can feel a little out of sync but may only require some adjustments of expectations of one another or the relationship as a unit. Your long-term goals, visions, and connections seem to be competing for your attention, and it can be challenging to find a compromise. Aim to be an observer more than anything today and reserve judgment for now. Leo. Retrograde Mercury retreats into your work and health sector today, dear Leo, where it will stay for the remainder of the retrograde, until February 3rd, and beyond. It can be difficult to see or learn all the facts about work or health matters, so that schedules can quickly become mixed up, or projects you began last month need revision. There may be the need to review, redo, or double-check your work until February 3rd. Old problems at work can resurface, and projects you thought were behind you may now need some reworking. It's a fabulous period to tackle a work problem from an entirely new angle. While Mercury will stay in this sector until February 14th, it's only retrograde until February 3rd. Delays now can give you the chance to reconsider things to your benefit. Today, you can feel a bit sapped. Despite your strong ambitions to take care of business these days, you can quite easily succumb to distractions today. Personal interests are consuming, and there can be some emotional or spiritual needs that feel insistent now. It's not the best time for keeping your mind in the game, but if you can embark on a healthy escape, you'll be better off for it. Virgo. Retrograde Mercury moves back into your sector of love and joy today, dear Virgo, and will remain here until February 14th, but will end its retrograde sooner than that on February 3rd. Communication is not likely to be straightforward in these life departments. However, you stand to learn much from viewing and approaching matters differently, perhaps redoing some things and getting it better this time around. You think and express yourself in different ways, trying on new styles. You may be revisiting old conversations or decisions. Remember that others may not take your communications the way you intend them until the 3rd. Some days call for action, while taking the path of least resistance works in your favor on days such as today. A Sun-Neptune aspect suggests taking things easy. You don't always have to be on call, you might decide to gather your thoughts, collect yourself, and get in touch with your need for security and comfort. Libra. Retrograde Mercury heads back into your home and family sector, dear Libra, where it will stimulate your desire to make contact and communicate with family members, as well as to organize your domestic life. Communication with family may not be as straightforward as you'd like while Mercury remains retrograde in this sector until February 3rd, or there can be some level of chaos or mechanical problems around the home that require your attention. Past issues can resurface for review, and you may be looking at a decision made last month in a new way. After the 3rd, matters unblock and clear up, and thoughts about or understanding of personal and domestic issues clarify. Mercury will stay in your home and family sector until February 14th. There's a tendency to misjudge our capabilities today, and knowing this can help prevent problems and moodiness. You're in good shape for creative and imaginative pursuits or methods, and if you can manage to escape others' pressures or the need to follow a strict schedule or plan, all the better. Scorpio. Mercury is still retrograde and moves back into your communications sector today, dear Scorpio. Until February 3rd, communications are unlikely to be straightforward, and your best bet may be to take a break from your routine and do things just a little differently. Learning, transportation, and basic communications can involve some backtracking or delays. You may be looking back at old projects and finding interesting information that helps you in the present. Be flexible and vigilant with marking important appointments and errands on your calendar, but look at recent decisions in new ways for best results now. After the 3rd, information unclogs. Mercury will continue to transit your solar 3rd house until February 14th. And personal interests are a strong draw. Today, your focus can waver temporarily, and energy levels are likely to drop a level. It's temporary, but it's also a message that you need a break from material pursuits so that you can nurture your spiritual or emotional needs. Sagittarius. Retrograde Mercury heads back into your finance sector, where it will stay until February 14th, dear Sagittarius, although it will only be retrograde until February 3rd. It's time to review financial matters. It's less than ideal for entirely new large purchases since you don't have all the information you need to make solid choices while Mercury is still retrograde. You may be dealing with lost or misplaced things, or you might reconsider a purchase or business decision. You'll be looking at things from a different perspective, which can lead to new conclusions, and from February 3rd to 14th, clarity comes, and blanks fill in, slowly but surely. Today, you might toy with a desire for something out of the ordinary, but defining what you want can be the challenge. In some ways, today is good for playing things by ear, and changes in plans can stimulate new approaches and ideas. It's important not to look outside of yourself for happiness and satisfaction, as people around you can be enthusiastic but may not be consistent. Capricorn. Retrograde Mercury moves back into your sign, dear Capricorn, where it will spend the rest of its retrograde and beyond. Mercury will stay in Capricorn until February 14th, but until February 3rd, it's still retrograde, and it's wise to be careful that you don't entirely misread a situation. Some personal plans may stall or regress. It's time to review rather than draw conclusions or finalize agreements. If it takes you a little longer to come to decisions, so be it. Allow yourself room to think and decide rather than pressure yourself to reach quick conclusions. With today's transits, it's important to ease up on seeking definite answers or making solid plans. Be careful that you're not making too much of something unimportant or making a simple matter too complicated. Aquarius. Retrograde Mercury moves out of your sign and back into your privacy sector today, dear Aquarius. You can be a little more mysterious or perhaps misunderstood until the end of the retrograde cycle. Until February 3rd, decision-making can be more challenging than usual as you consider different possibilities or wait for more information. Your mind can frequently turn back to the same problem. Now is the time to approach your feelings from an entirely new angle instead of sweeping things under the carpet. Some of the decisions made and projects started in recent weeks can come up for review now. It may not be until after February 14th, when Mercury moves back into your sign, that you feel equipped to make a big decision. However, clarity is likely from February 3rd forward. Today, it's best to take charge of your own happiness rather than wait for someone else to fill that job. Relationships and moods can suffer if expectations are set unrealistically high. Transits today suggest it's a time to regroup or make adjustments rather than push ahead. Take things slowly. Pisces. Retrograde Mercury moves back into your friends and dreams sector today, dear Pisces, emphasizing your communications with associates, groups, and friends for the remainder of the retrograde and beyond. It's also a time to hatch ideas for your future happiness, but you may be dealing with missing information or fuzzy thinking. In fact, you may be waiting for word on a matter. Returning to past issues with a friend or focusing on a past friendship can figure strongly until February 3rd when the retrograde ends. Nevertheless, it's time for a new way of tackling the same old problem if it just keeps cropping up. Some of the seeds you recently planted concerning long-term goals are likely to need review or revision. While it can be rather annoying, it's expected to serve you better since you get a second chance to get things right. Mercury will remain in this sector until February 14th. Today, keep your plans fairly open and your expectations realistic, and you'll do best. There can be a bit of moodiness or confusion today, making it best not to focus on arriving at reliable conclusions or attempting to fit too much into your day.